Okay, welcome. So first of all, we are going to start to create an hack, and of course, yes, from Modern Warfare 3. So first of all, you need to have Visual Express C Sharp or Visual Studio, or yeah, you need to have it for C Sharp. Then you just start a new project and select a Windows Form application, and you choose the name of your project. Okay, now I recommend you to pin these toolbox and properties, and you are going to use most like the common control, so you can right click and you can add tab and you can drag items into your own tab afterwards as you use them. Okay, then we have done that, so then we will have to get a class that you will get in a link, I suppose. Then you can do two options here. You can either go to view code and you can simply add it into here. That's one option you got. Or you can create it as a own class. As you see, you get some errors, so you just take the mouse over, maybe you have to press, and then it will appear here, and use system diagnostics. And here we have Interpol services. Okay, now we have included our trainer. What we will do now is, for example, we are going to add like a prestige changer. Then we add in text box for fun, and then a button. You can also use other functions like a mask text box that will be masked to an input you preset, like only numbers, one number or two numbers, and so on. Okay, and here you have the properties. You can play around with these, like you have the color of the button, background, and different button types and font type, and etc. But on the text that when you like press it, then you can just type. So let us say prestige. Okay, now we have that, and we have the text box. You can resize as you are known with, I hope, that you can take on the right squares, dots, and move like this. Same we have here, but you can take it bigger, smaller, and etc. Okie dokie, and you can do the same here. Okay, to enable the classic or the main event for the button, you just simply double click it. It auto generates the click it event button for the button, and that will do every time you click it will run this event. So if you want to create some customized events or select and some other ones, you can go here and you can find what you want. You can either like, let's say, when we hover the mouse over, we can like enter our own text like mouse hovering shortcut and just press enter. You can simply just press enter and it will auto generate the classic name for it. So let's just type now message box.show and then mouse over. Okay, this is how we create a message box, and when you are creating the quotes, inside the quotes we contain a string value, and string value is a text container, or it contains text between the quotes. Then you press the green arrow or F5 to debug. When I take the mouse over, you see mouse over. So now we have tested that. I will just disable the code by creating the sidelines, two of them. And to disable a longer section, you can create the sideline and the multiply mark, and the multiply mark and the sideline. Then you disable the code between here and here instead of a single line. Okay, so first of all we will go to the basic stuff. We will have to use the process handle to access the program. So since people are asking like it's working, we go through it fast as well. Okay, this is a public boolean method that is going to return you a boolean answer, and boolean answer is an yes/no answer. And inside, this method is requiring a string, and the string had to be the process name. If you enter that wrong, well, it won't work. So I added some try and catch here in case you do wrong or it doesn't find, or yeah, something is wrong. So this will go through this is creating a process list. This is the key name for a process list. This is getting every process by the name that you have entered inside here. We're getting back to that later. And if the length of a process list is equal to 0, meaning it's no one, it will return a false value and stop the code there. And that means you will get a false value, and you can even create an if statement to check if you get a true value, then it will do something. If you don't, it won't do anything. And here it will set the p handle, that's an well, I don't even try to pronounce it right now, but yeah, it's going to be the okay, we just say the name of the application you are going to code in the code word. Okay, so here we are setting the first one, since we start counting from 0 and up and not from 1 and up. So this meaning the first process in the process list are we going to get. And it will also return a true value that we can create, that we can use inside an if statement to check. And inside the catch statement, I created something new that is going to say a beep in the console, and then it's going to write a process handle with an error message. And if you wonder how the console looks like, it's going to be, I don't remember. If you debug, then you will have it here. So it will show up here like process fail or something. I don't think we'll get that now, since I haven't done anything. Okay, now we're going through that. Okay, this is the read that is simply the same blah. I'm not going to explain everything, that will take ages. But here we're using the process we have find to access. This is the process we are going to access, the model or the handle of the process. Then we have the offset we are going to write to, that we are converting from an integer to the offset type. And then we are going to write some byte array into or read from the process. And then we are setting the length of the bytes we are going to read. Like 4 bytes are standard integer, that is standing of 4 bytes and blah blah blah. And then it's setting the length of the bytes, that's how long it's going to read. Yeah, well, I'm thinking, well, never mind that, but yeah. Mainly I got it all right, I think. Well, okay, let's go on. Never mind, we dropped the basic stuff. And here we have the write and write string and so on. I'm not going too deep into this, that will take ages and it's ridiculous. Because you just have to know what we're going to do. Okay, so then we are going to type some codes into here. Also, then we are first going to start with a process handle. Then we are going to type inside the quote, since we are going to enter string as a process name. And if you don't know how to find a process name, you can either start your task manager and you can find like process names here without extension .exe or yeah, exe, without that. So I know from before that it's iv5mp, and I can do this because that won't cause any errors. But if I do like this, if, and I'm ending there and grading it down, did mean an if statement is checking if something is true, false, bigger than, equal to, or greater, less than, greater, less, equal to, and so on. But now, since this is a boolean, it will automatically check if it's true. Either you would use like equals two equal signs to check if it's equaling to something. Type in true to because boolean is entering either true or false value in return. So this is checking if it's true. If it's false, you just type in false. Well, you have to spell it properly, of course, not like me. Okay, that's the one way, hard way, whatever. So now automatically checking if it's true. If I'm adding this, forgot the name of it, this one. That means if it's checking if it's not true. This is also meaning not equal to. When we're going into strings, we're going to use this. That means not equal to, and greater than, less than, otherwise, less than, greater than, and so on, blah blah. Okay, so if it's true, it's returning the type 2 if you remember from before. Then we can do like, let's see, can do write of course, if you can write right. And since we have added it, we will also get the private codes. You will see a key on it, so when there's a key on it, you just never mind it. So we are just going to do the write integer. Then we have to find the offset we're going to use. And you can go to the side, then you could go into the source coding slash source. You can go to the sticky source. You can either go to the last post or the first one. The first one is, I'm trying to keep it up to date, of course. And the current Steam version. And then you can select, I know that is going under standard stuff, and you have stats and weapons and etc. and all the other things I have been too lazy to add. So the prestige I'm just copy pasting. Yeah, it's illegal. Yeah. Okay, so what I have to do now to create it as an hexadecimal value, because this is an hexadecimal value since it contains containing letters, and the letter A is equaling to 10. Of course, this stupid recording program doesn't allow me to create in capital A. Is equaling to 10, and then you have B that is equaling to 11, and you go up so until F that is equaling 15. And the highest hexadecimal is FF, that is equal to 255. But you don't have to know all this, but mainly it's you understand it's a by hex value. So then you have to create the 0x to indicate that you are writing an hexadecimal that is going to be used as an integer, to say it easy. So then we are copy pasting or pasting in what we copied from the side. And now it's requesting us to insert a value we want to write to that offset or address. Let's say I'm prestige 1, I want to be prestige 10. Okay, there, now that is done. I can remove this, I think, same with this. Okay, now let's try and debug and see what happens. I press it, nothing happens, so let's try to do something else as well. We can create an else statement. Then you can type in message box dot show and Modern Warfare 3 was not found, for example. And of course you have to spell it right. Of course you don't have to, but it's probably smart. Yeah, and of course I've done something wrong that I will fix. Oopsie. Okay, so probably I will change something here soon, but that won't affect you. Okay, so now that we have done that, we are able to start the multiplayer. And yeah, while the game started, I found out that you had to remove this mark because as it won't go as good. Else the code was right, my fault. Forgive me, please. I'm just doing a live record that I don't practice, okay? So, then now let's try to debug and enjoy. Now, nothing happens. This should get an error. It didn't. As you see, now I'm prestige something. Who knows what prestige I mean? But I'm in 10. Yeah, that's right, because we wrote 10 there. And I'm 10. Okay, now let's write 1. Now I press prestige and you see I'm prestige 1, I hope. So now, let's say I want to use the text box in my form. Then I just simply type in text box. Well, first we have to convert it. Then we have two ways. We have the int, that is standing for integer, and praise, and then we are typing in the string. That is going to be text box 1 text. Now, it will try to generate this as a string. If I do like this, I will get an error because I can't convert in blank null string into an integer. So let's type 0 now. I am prestige 0. Let's try 20. And now 20. I think it was only up to 15, but no, it was up to... yeah. So now I'm prestige 5. Hooray, everyone's happy. Okay, so now we have mainly used the write integer function. So you have much more options. Well, you don't have that, but I've included the read function as well. So let's say you want to read the function to make it more fancy-pantsy. So then we are going to use the read integer and we are going to insert the offset. We're going to use the same offset for the prestige. Okay, so now I just simply copy paste this as well and creating if the prestige level, we say, if my prestige level is equaling to what the user had typed. Yeah, well, then it's going to do something. I'm going to type like message box dot show and you are already this prestige or something. Now I'm doing an else statement and then it will do this instead. So I think I was prestige 5. Let's press it. Oh no, I'm already prestige 5. Let's try to enter 1. Well, I'm prestige 1, press it again. I'm already prestige. Well, that's too sad. Let's say we want to tell the user what prestige she had entered. You can do like this. Remember to create a space. And you're adding a plus sign outside the quote, meaning we can apply more text to it. And then we can do the text box 1.text. Simple as that, since the message box is only requiring a string input. Okay, so as you remember, I got an error here from before when I type it in nothing or if I type in a letter. You can simply solve this by creating a try-catch statement. The try-catch statement is trying out the code, and if it occurs some errors, it will do the catch statement. You can also add a final statement that will be the final code it will do. It will do the final code anyway. If that final code would create an error, your program will create an error. But try and catch easy is simply avoiding the user errors or giving more information to the user. Okay, so now first in the boring way, we have the expression or expression, and then you give it a key name. Then you can do like message box dot show and ex message. There, now it will display the error message. And we say I had to create this as well. Okay, now, and then it's setting a notation that the input string was invalid format, something like that. So it will, yes, it will show the error in your language, so you know that as well. Okay, so now we have created that. So, but you can also do like, if it's not, then it will do this and blah blah. Yeah, well, never mind, my fault. Okay, so now we have simply created this. We have used the read function to check if the presses the user already had entered is already in use, and etc. Like you want to save the stats of the player, we can do something easy fast, I think. You can go in on the project name at the end, properties, settings, of course, and here you can add some stuff. So I want to create an integer and call it prestige or whatever I type it, and then I'm setting it to 0, just never mind it. Okay, now I'm going, well, I was debugging. So now let's create an method that it's called. So then we can just use, we don't have to use the private, but most people just use the private when they are coding one single application like this. Then we can create void, and we are giving it a key name like save prestige. And then we are doing int or whatever, we don't have to, so okay, and then we are typing in properties, settings, default, and prestige, the name of the settings. We are going to set it equal to something. Then we can use the read function, for example. Then it will set it to that. So now I'm boring and lazy, I'm just copy pasting this and save and reload in case, but you don't really have to use the reload. Okay, so this will save you inside the program even after you restart it. So let's say I create another extra button here, like backup, or remember how to change from the event. Okay, and I'm just taking it for my sake, so we are taking backup and store. Okay, double click it, and then we can do like if, and then I'm lazy, if this is equaling to 0, then it will do the save prestige. Yeah, well, wrong spell, but who cares? Else, it will do the write up here, and write, and then we are going to do this. Okay, now this will only work one time, because it's checking if it's 0, and if you save it, it won't become 0 again unless the user types 0. But this is simply to show that you can store settings. So let's type 5 here. Now I have saved it. Now I'm changing myself back to 1. And now I'm pressing this store. And of course it wouldn't work. That's just obvious, I suppose. Well, then we never mind that. I don't remember see what I did wrong right now, but who care right now? Okay, well, we just never mind this, I think. But it may be useful for some of you. So, well, mainly we are kinda done, so rest is just nothing. Well, I don't think there is much more to say. Yeah, of course, I had to say about that as well. So let's say we want to write our pro perks array. Then I'm just copy pasting the code since I'm lazy. Mr. Daisy. Okie dokie. Well, then we are going back here. We're going to copy paste the pro perks. I know it ain't perfect. Let's take the silencers. Whatever. Okay. And then I'm going to remove the if statement here. And then we are just leveling that away. And then we are going to write bytes. And then we are going to create the integer that is the 0x and this. And we are just doing this for zone now. And we can create outside here. This will allow us to use the function more than once. Well, later on. So then we are going to type in the byte with a, so we get a square behind it. And a key name like pp for pro perks and equaling to, and this, well, skirt barracks something. And then we are just going to the byte list and we are like not copy pasting all. This will take forever. Okay, now you copy paste this. Of course you will have to use one of my replace tool. And you're just pasting it or not. Remember you get to copy it. There. Then you're just replacing every space with comma 0x. Replace, Control A and copy. Roger. And inside here we are just typing at start 0x and paste it. It's a long one as you can see here. Yes, you can split it down like this, but there is no point of doing so. Then we are just typing in pp. Yeah. Okay. And I'm just going here. Now let me guess. Well, it's almost all done. Not this, but never mind. So then I'm just typing in here, going back here, and as you see, more is done. Well, this didn't get done now. That's ugly. Well, that we do not care. It's down here, but it doesn't show us done. So that's an back. We say that someone will have to fix, not me. Okay, so then we have learned how to create the byte write function stuff. And if I try to use this again, I will add error. And that's how you can also create that. Just adding a timer, create the if statement, and then you will have the nice label with running, not running, ready, ready, not ready, whatever. Well, we are done. Thank you.